Being stealth as a trans man seems like the goal, right? I mean, no one questions you, you blend in, and in a lot of ways, things are smooth. But what if I told you that living stealth doesn't solve all your problems? What if I told you in some ways it's actually harder? I'm gonna tell you guys 10 things that I wish I knew before choosing to live stealth as a trans man. Now, I will say, being stealth and living stealth has a huge privilege to it, and I will never discredit that. There are a lot of things that make me extremely privileged as a transgender person who blends in with society, because that's not the case for everyone. Unfortunately, we live in a world where people are supposed to look a very specific binary way, and I have the privilege to resemble that. And the proof really just goes every single day. I go out, no one questions my identity, and when they do find out that I was biologically born female, they don't believe it. And that is a huge privilege. But again, there are some things that are just as hard when you are a stealth trans person, and I wanted to share that. But first, if you have not stumbled across my channel, my name is Kyle. I'm a black trans man who lives stealth in most spaces, and I'm somebody who has learned these lessons the hard way. And that's why I'm here to share them with you. So if you're early in your transition, or you are already deep within your transition and you live stealth and you're feeling a little lost, this video is for you. Let's get into it. Number 1, just because you live stealth does not mean you are any safer than somebody who does not live stealth. I thought living stealth would shield me from all of the transphobia in the world, but instead, it just presents itself through jokes aimed at people like me, meaning they just don't know that I'm part of that community, so they feel the same way about me, they just don't know it yet. Number 2, you might start feeling invisible within your own community, and that could be on purpose or unintentionally. And one thing that I've noticed is when I go to Pride, if it wasn't for my social media platform, people may not recognize me as someone who is trans unless I'm wearing trans merch. But when I go to Pride, it's almost like I have to go out of my way to fit in. And I know some people are like, oh my God, Kyle, you're acting like that's the worst thing you have to deal with. I'm just saying, at the end of the day, when I do go to things like Pride, or when I go to clubs that are LGBTQ inclusive, I've even had people tell me, like, honestly, you give off cis heterosexual vibes, and I low-key hate that for me, not gonna lie. So things like Pride, I go out of my way so that I feel like a part of the community that I am in. Number 3, just because I live stealth does not mean my dysphoria will just disappear. Dysphoria still stands. I may be able to look at myself and say, wow, nobody can tell I'm trans, but deep down, I still may dislike my hips. I may not be content with my scars. In fact, I am fine with my scars, but that's just an example. There are a lot of things I could still be dysphoric about, even though I am stealth and cisgender passing. Number 4, pride versus privacy. You want to be proud of who you are, but you also want your privacy. And when you choose to live stealth, you're kind of giving that up in ways. For example, in the workplace, if you're stealth, you can't just shout out at Pride Month, "Happy Pride, everybody, I'm part of the trans community." You can't do that. Everyone is already under the impression that you are not trans. They think you are a cisgender man or a cisgender woman. So it'd be kind of strange, I guess, to just randomly pop out at Pride Month and just shout it out. And then again, when it comes to Pride, you feel kind of left out because you want to be prideful, but you have to pick and choose where and when you can be. Number 5, dating can be exhausting. You don't want to come out too soon because you might scare them off. You don't want to come out too late because you might feel like you betrayed them. So you're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place because you know that they don't necessarily know that you're trans, so you have to figure out the perfect timing to come out without jeopardizing your feelings or their feelings. Number 6, work is full of awkward moments. Never is there a dull moment at work where you're just not completely uncomfortable. And if you have stumbled across my videos in the past, you know I have a few of them about the workplace. and just how awkward it can be as a stealth person. You never know what is going to come out of people's mouth. You don't know if there's somebody who may have figured out you're trans and now you're using the bathroom you prefer, and everything and anything can happen. Every day feels like you're trying to cover up something and like you can't be your authentic self, and not being able to stay true to who you are and having to wear a mask every single day is extremely tiring, especially because work is tiring anyway. No one wants to be there. So when you also have to additionally put on a mask, it makes it that much harder. Number 7, masculinity starts to become extremely performative. So much so that it's sometimes cringy as hell. Again, I have perfect examples for the workplace. I tend to work jobs that are primarily men and very toxic masculine vibes all around. And in order to fit in, sometimes you have to play the part in situations, and you have to play this excessive masculine dominant person that you may not actually be. I am very in touch with my femininity, and know that's not just because I was biologically born female, it's just because I'm content kind of just being who I am. And I feel like everyone, no matter what gender you are, should be able to do that. But when you're a stealth trans person who's not trying to be outed or not trying to get caught, I guess, it can be hard. You have to play the part of the people you're around, and that's just icky. We don't like that. Number 8. Yeah, every doctor's visit is a dilemma. It can be extremely awkward, and I have a story in itself that I'll save for like a whole separate video. But there's been times I've gone to the doctors, and although it says in my charts that I'm female, whatever, people still get extremely confused. And I've had a situation where a nurse came in and said, "Hey, no one else will do it, so I will. Are you male or female?" Because what I was getting done at that doctor's office required a specific type of doctor, because if I was male, the women nurses, I guess, didn't feel too comfortable. And if I was female, the male nurses didn't feel too comfortable. So they wanted to know. And that was extremely awkward, and that's because I was cisgender passing. Number 9, trans joy starts to feel out of reach, because every time you reach a milestone, you feel like you can't really say it to anybody because nobody knows. So you feel very secluded and lonely. And again, this is one of the big reasons that I speak on social media about being trans so much, because in person I can't. I'm on mute. I'm just silent, and I can't speak about who I am and the person that I'm proud to say that I've become. And number 10, being stealth is empowering until it's not. You want to be loud and proud, but then you also stay quiet, and you might start to become too quiet because you're trying so hard to fit the part. And I never want to get to a point where I don't speak for my community. And as a stealth person, sometimes you choose to stay quiet simply because you don't want to be outed. You don't want your stealthness to be taken away from you. And I've found myself in situations like this where I didn't speak up when I should have because I was scared of being outed. If this video spoke to you, make sure to drop a comment. I would love to hear some feedback. And if you are trying to figure out your stealth journey, or you are looking to live stealth in the future years when you physically transition, or even if you don't physically transition, make sure to hit the subscribe button right here, right now. If you want to support me directly, I have a hat business that I just launched last month, and it's doing phenomenal. You guys are definitely showing out, and I appreciate everybody that has supported thus far. But I have the T-Dudes hat as well as the Mask Bros hat, $40, which includes shipping within the US. All you gotta do is shoot me a DM or comment or email me, and we'll get all the information situated so that you can get your hat. Until next time, I love you. Peace.